Hi, today I went down to my local grocery store. That is probably not very interesting for you to know, but while at it, I actually filmed one of my tiny little habits. And you might still wonder how is this related to not buying too many miniatures. And it's related to a video I did like last winter about the sort of boxed sets. I'll explain how. In this video, I talked about the Goblin and the Wizard. If you're not already watched it, please do so, because, well, otherwise a lot of this stuff might not really make sense. In this video, I talked about how your brain runs in sort of two systems, commonly referred to as System 1 and System 2. This is not like me just making stuff up. This is actual science. This is like proper Nobel Prize stuff. But given a lot of oversimplifications, you could say that the Goblin is sort of impulsive part of your brain, and the Wizard is the more analytical and thoughtful part. And that is why Games Workshop, like any other company, they're not really special in that sense, wants the Goblin to be in control of your sort of purchasing habits and things you do in general. But one thing I also touched upon in this video is that perhaps you don't need to fight the Goblin as much as you think. Perhaps you can actually work with the Goblin rather than against it. And today we will have a practical example of this. It will actually be the very same store and item that got me started. But before we, head over to some miniature stuff, let's head over to ICA Haga. The thing that I do is to find an item that I want but don't need. In this case, a bar of chocolates. I walk up to the place where they are on sale. I pick one up. I inspect it. I put it back and then walk away. Okay, so that went pretty fast. So let's run it over and see what we actually did. First off, we make sure that the Wizard is in control. You might not be able to tell from the footage, but at this point I'm well fed. Otherwise it gets much harder. But we make sure that the Wizard is in control. We intentionally walk over there. The Wizard is saying that we're gonna do this. And then we pick one up, which engages the Goblin. And then we inspect it. This is kind of important. I think more important than you think. Partially it actually raises the stakes a bit, but it's also the thing that we're not just rushing past, we're actually facing the problem. Then we put it down, which should be pretty self-explanatory. Then we pat the Goblin on the back, like telling him or her, like, what a great job you did there, even though the Goblin has nothing to do with it. But please don't tell the Goblin. And then we walk away. As simple as that. So now let's head over to a miniature related example. Now let's head over to gamesworkshop.com and find something that you want but don't need. And just to be clear, this page only contains stuff that you either want or do not want. It does not contain anything that you actually need. If you feel uncertain, just do the zombie apocalypse test. It is pretty easy. You just, imagine yourself standing outside of your house with the trunk of your car open, and you got 10 minutes to pack whatever you have from your house to bring into an uncertain future. None of the stuff on display on this page should be on your list of priorities. Let's find an item. For me, that would be the Wolf Riders. Yes, the Goblin Wolf Riders. This is something that I want to have. I remember them fondly as a kid, not having these. I had a sort of chariot, and I kind of liked it, but I never had these Wolf Riders, but I always wanted to have them. So let's add them into the cart here. But let's not just stop there. We have to, we'll expect here, inspect. Let's see, this is sort of the way you remember them. Yeah, I really remember these wolves. But this sort of reminds me of a part of going to the Swedish military where you, at some point, I think everyone does this pretty much, you jump into a hole into the ice. And after doing that, most people are kind of eager to get out immediately. But you're not allowed to. You have to latch onto the edge and in a calm voice ask for permission to get up. This might seem a bit cruel, but it is an important exercise in self-control. Even if the goblin screams, the wizard is there if you just calm down. Now, it's okay to remove your item. It is very important that you do this because this is the moment when the goblin gets his feedback. Pat him on the back and give him a snack. Perhaps not from the chocolate bar that you did not buy, but a sort of mental one. It is also very important because otherwise you have already prepared your brain for buying this item, and the next time you visit here, it will just be a free ride for the goblin. Everything is just prepared. It has to just, click checkout and you're done. So why did I bother to, record myself not buying a bar of chocolate in the first place? Well, I just got inspired to make this video because I thought it might be helpful for someone. You see, this stuff does not only work for not buying miniatures, which is just hopefully just one part of your life. This works for all kinds of stuff. Perhaps not if you have like a drug addiction or something. You should probably find some proper help, but this is really useful. And this tiny little habit, you saw just a few seconds it took, it helped me quite a lot. So please push the like button if you did like this stuff. Otherwise, please tell me why you didn't like it in a constructive way. And with all of that said, until next time, don't forget to enjoy your hobby.